The rain fell in slow, heavy sheets. It soaked the streets, turning them into silver rivers. Maya held her coat tightly around her, shivering. The wind whispered secrets through the alleyways. She had never felt such a cold emptiness before. Every heartbeat echoed against the walls of the narrow street. Her eyes searched for a light, a sign, anything familiar. But the city seemed unfamiliar, almost hostile. Earlier that day, she had received a letter. The handwriting was delicate, almost trembling. It spoke of love, of longing, and a secret meeting. Her heart had soared, blind to any danger. Now, standing alone under the flickering street lamp, she realized her mistake. A shadow moved across the wet pavement. She held her breath. The sound of her shoes splashing through puddles seemed loud, intrusive. She remembered the way he had smiled in the letter. It had felt warm, comforting, irresistible. But something in her stomach twisted with unease. The warmth of love mingled with a cold, creeping fear. A soft, almost inaudible whisper came from behind. Maya spun around, eyes wide. Nothing was there, only the rain and the dim glow of lamps. She tried to tell herself it was just the wind. But then she heard it again, closer this time. A voice she knew, yet not quite. It called her name in a tone that was both tender and strange. Her legs trembled, unwilling to move forward or back. The alley seemed longer than before. Shadows stretched like fingers, reaching for her. Every step she took echoed in a hollow rhythm. Her heart pounded, almost louder than the rain. She caught sight of a figure at the end of the alley. It was him, she thought. His face hidden under a hood, features unclear. The letter had promised love, but the figure promised something else. Maya's mind raced with questions. Why did the city feel suddenly hostile? Why did her chest tighten with dread? She realized love had led her into uncertainty, into darkness. The figure did not move, only waited. The air seemed heavier, thicker, pressing against her lungs. She wanted to run, but her feet would not obey. The rain stung her skin like 1,000 tiny needles. She stepped closer, drawn by a mixture of hope and fear. The figure tilted the head slightly. A hand emerged from the coat, holding something small and wrapped. Her heart skipped. She could not tell if it was a gift or a trap. The scent of wet earth and something unfamiliar filled her nostrils. Her fingers tingled, anticipating contact. Every instinct screamed to retreat. Every memory of love whispered to trust. Maya reached out, trembling. The figure stepped closer. The world seemed to hold its breath. And then she saw the eyes. They were not the eyes she had imagined. They were dark, hollow, unsettling. A chill ran down her spine, freezing her from inside. The letter, the journey, every step had led her here. She wanted to scream, to turn, to run into the rain. But something rooted her to the spot. The eyes held a story she did not want to hear. And yet, they demanded her attention. Maya's mind raced, trying to make sense of the hollow eyes. They seemed to pierce through her, seeing secrets she had not shared. The rain fell harder, drumming on the alley like impatient fingers. She shivered, yet could not move, as if invisible chains held her in place. The figure lowered the hand, revealing the small wrapped object more clearly. It was a box, plain, unremarkable, yet heavy with expectation. Her fingers twitched, yearning to open it, to see what it held. A part of her screamed to stop, to flee, to throw herself into the chaotic rain. A sudden gust of wind blew her hair into her face. Maya wiped it away and looked again. The figure had shifted, just a little, but it was enough. She felt the air around her grow colder, denser, like the walls of the alley were closing in. The sound of the rain faded into a low, rhythmic hum. It was almost as if the world was holding its breath with her. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears, loud and erratic. She realized the warmth she had felt for love was now entangled with dread. The figure finally spoke. The voice was low, smooth, almost hypnotic. It was not a voice she recognized, yet somehow it knew her name perfectly. Maya, it said, you have come far. Do you wish to see the truth? Maya swallowed hard, the lump in her throat blocking any words. Her fingers trembled as she reached for the box. The rain began to fall again, soft and whispering, covering her hesitation. She lifted the lid. Inside was a single photograph. A photograph of herself, but not as she was now. It was her from years ago, a memory she thought long buried. And next to her, a figure she did not recognize at first. Then the recognition struck her like lightning. It was him, the one she had loved and lost, or thought she had. But his eyes were different, colder, sharper. They did not hold warmth. They held calculation, intent, something terrifying. Maya's hands shook violently, almost dropping the photograph. Her chest tightened, suffocating her with an invisible grip. The world around her blurred, the alley stretching and twisting in impossible ways. She could hear her own heartbeat, heavy, insistent, like a drum of warning. The figure stepped closer, and she finally noticed a small detail. The hood was not just covering a face, it was hiding something more. A mask, subtle but unmistakable, painted with the smile she had once trusted. It was a smile that had lured her before, now turned grotesque and mocking. Fear surged, yet fascination rooted her. She had always believed in love as a journey of discovery. Now she realized it was also a journey into deception, shadows, and uncertainty. Her eyes darted around, searching for an escape, but the alley offered none. The figure extended another hand, gloved, pale, carrying another object. It was a letter, sealed with wax, the same elegant handwriting she had trusted. Her stomach twisted. Could she trust this? Could she open it? Every instinct screamed no, yet her curiosity, her longing for closure, demanded yes. Maya broke the seal carefully. The letter contained words she could hardly believe. It spoke of love, yes, but of obsession, manipulation, and hidden motives. It told of a plan that had started years ago, tracking her every step, waiting for the perfect moment. Her heart froze. This was no longer just a journey of love. Thunder rumbled far away, and lightning flashed, illuminating the alley in stark white. For a moment, the figure's mask gleamed unnaturally in the light. Maya could feel the presence of something more than human, something that had shaped her life without her knowing. Her mind whirled, caught between fear, grief, and disbelief. The rain began to sting harder, lashing against her face like cold knives. She felt as if the city itself were conspiring against her. Her legs finally moved, slow and hesitant at first, then faster, stepping back, away from the figure. But the alley seemed to stretch endlessly, trapping her between the walls and the shadows. The figure spoke again, voice calm, deliberate, almost intimate. You cannot turn back now. Every step you took led here. Every choice was mine to witness. Maya felt nausea rising, her stomach tightening, her chest burning. She wanted to scream, to cry, to run into the chaotic rain, but the alley absorbed her voice. The photograph slipped from her hands, landing face up on the wet pavement. She saw herself, younger, trusting, smiling at a past that now seemed a lie. And him, the figure in her memory, whose eyes had always hidden this truth. Her knees buckled, but she forced herself to stand, trembling, defiant. The figure lifted a gloved hand slowly, revealing a small key. It glimmered faintly in the dim light, old, mysterious, promising revelation. Maya's fingers itched to take it, yet terror rooted her in place. Every part of her screamed to flee, yet a deeper part, the part that believed in love, whispered otherwise. The rain slowed, as if pausing for her decision. The city around them was silent now, the hum of distant traffic gone, leaving only the sound of her ragged breaths. Her eyes never left the key, her mind torn between fear and the promise of truth. She realized this was the moment she had unknowingly been moving toward her entire life. The figure took a step closer, the masked smile still fixed and terrifying. Maya felt the keys pull, almost magnetic, drawing her into a choice she did not fully understand. One step forward, and she would unlock the secrets of love, loss, and obsession. One step back, and she could retreat into ignorance, but never escape the memory of this night. Her fingers finally reached out, trembling, brushing against the cold metal. A shiver ran through her, cold and sharp, as if touching the key had awakened something ancient. The figure did not speak, did not move, only waited. The rain fell gently again, washing the alley in silver light, waiting for her next move. Maya's heart pounded, and she realized she could not run from this journey. Love had brought her here, but fear would not allow her to leave. She gripped the key tightly, knowing that the moment of truth was now. And as she turned the key slowly in her hand, the shadows of the alley seemed to shift, whispering secrets only she could hear. Her breath caught in her throat as a strange sensation passed through the air. It was cold, yet electric, like the pulse of something unseen, something watching. The photograph on the ground fluttered as if alive, eyes staring into her soul. Maya's fingers tightened around the key, and she realized she was standing at the edge of revelation. The figure moved, finally, revealing the hidden face beneath the mask. It was him, yet not the man she remembered. His features were twisted, familiar yet distorted, love and malice intertwined in a single gaze. Maya's mind screamed in horror, yet she could not look away. The rain slowed further, dripping silently from the rooftops. Every sound seemed amplified, the key in her hand, her own heartbeat, the soft shuffle of footsteps on wet stone. The city seemed suspended in time, holding its breath with her. She understood that the journey of love had led her to a moment where desire, fear, and truth collided. And in that moment, Maya realized that love was never simple. It was a path filled with light and shadow, warmth and cold, trust and betrayal. She had walked it willingly, yet the end, or perhaps the beginning, was nothing like she had imagined. Maya stood frozen, gripping the key tightly. The figure before her remained silent, the twisted mask now gone, revealing only sorrow in the eyes she once loved. The rain had slowed to a soft drizzle, and the alley seemed less threatening, almost calm. She took a deep breath, forcing her racing heart to settle. The key was heavy in her hand, but she realized it held no power over her fate except what she allowed. Love had led her here, yes, but fear had no claim on her. Slowly, she stepped forward and placed the key on the photograph. The photograph fluttered and then lay still, the eyes staring up at her with quiet accusation. She felt a strange release, as if acknowledging the truth had lifted a weight from her shoulders. The figure took a step back, bowed slightly, and then vanished into the misty streets. Maya blinked, and he was gone, leaving only the sound of raindrops and distant city life. She realized he had never been a threat, but a reflection of choices, of love's shadow and light intertwined. Maya looked around the alley, seeing it in a new light. It was no longer dark and menacing. It was a place of endings, yes, but also of understanding. The journey had tested her heart, revealed its depths, and shown her the line between devotion and obsession. She picked up the photograph and held it close, feeling a bittersweet warmth. The image of herself and the man she once loved was a memory, not a chain. She understood that love was never just about union. It was about courage, forgiveness, and the willingness to face truth, even when it was uncomfortable. The rain eased completely, leaving the streets glistening under faint city lights. Maya began to walk slowly, feeling the weight of the night lift with each step. Her heart still ached, but with clarity, not confusion. She realized that the journey of love was not about finding another person to complete her. It was about discovering herself, and finding peace within her own heart. As she emerged into the broader streets, the city felt alive, welcoming, and full of possibilities. She inhaled the cool night air and smiled faintly. The journey had been painful, shocking, and uncertain, yet it had brought her here, stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace love in its truest form. And with that, Maya stepped into the night, not running from fear, but walking forward with courage. The journey of love had ended for now, yet it had given her a beginning she had never expected, a beginning shaped by truth, resilience, and the quiet, steady heartbeat of hope. This ending wraps up the story gracefully, resolves the suspense, gives emotional closure, and leaves a reflective, hopeful tone.